welcome back to Laugh Pig TV. I'm having a little cup of tea this morning. As taking a break from some chores and the such. It is a cold January day out there here in East Tennessee. And it's cold and flu season. There are a lot of people sick out there right now, and a lot of people wondering, what else can I do to try to keep myself healthy during cold and flu season. And one of the big vitamins that gets talked about a lot is vitamin C, and particularly for colds and flu. Vitamin C is considered the stress vitamin of our body. Anytime your body's under stress, whether it be physical, whether it be mental, emotional, you name it, your body is really asking for some extra vitamin C to help support a whole lot of the functions that are going on in there. And you may or may not know that all mammals, except for human beings, primates, fruit bats, guinea pigs, that was another one, and I think maybe one more animal, all the other mammals produce their own vitamin C inside their body. They produce it inside their livers. Well, many, many years ago, something happened in the human and primates genetic structure that the ability to make our own vitamin C went away. And scientists theorize that it is because we and primates and things like fruit bats that eat a lot of fruit, ate plenty of vitamin C in our diets, and that our bodies just kind of decided, you know what, we don't have to put forth that effort ourselves anymore because they derive enough from their diets, which is great, and primates still do, and fruit bats still do. Modern human beings, on the other hand, are eating a whole lot of dead food out of little boxes that's been on the shelf for 3 or 4 years that has no vitamin C in it. And even people that eat a lot of produce, a lot of fresh produce and vegetables and fruit and stuff, sometimes you're still not getting a whole lot of vitamin C because of how depleted our soils are, and we just don't have as many nutrients in our foods as what we used to. So sometimes we need to pay attention to supplementing a little bit more vitamin C than what we normally would, particularly when we want to stay well, when people around us are sick. And you can always find vitamin C supplements are everywhere. They're at the grocery store, they're at the drugstore, they're at the health food store. The little packets of powdered vitamin C is, even at convenience stores, truck stops and things like that. So there's vitamin C out there to be found everywhere. But as with most things, our human bodies know how to process vitamins and minerals better and more efficiently when they come in our foods. So if we can add a few foods in that have extra vitamin C in it, even better. Even if we're taking 5,000 grams of vitamin C a day to try to stay well, your body would appreciate it if you get a little bit of extra food stuff in there too that has some more vitamin C, that it's better at processing. And a couple of things we will talk about. Of course, we know lots of fruits have vitamin C in it. Lots of vegetables have vitamin C in it. Mostly plant products have a lot of vitamin C in them. But it's hard to eat, 15 oranges a day. It's hard to drink a gallon of lemonade a day and stuff like that. So let's look for a couple of things where we can, get a nice dose of vitamin C and enjoy it as well. How about that? You may have heard the story through nutritionists from a long time ago when the first voyages were happening out in the ocean, and sailors would be gone for months at a time, and they would suffer from scurvy, and a lot of them would die. Scurvy being a deficiency of vitamin C, because they didn't have fresh fruits and vegetables on the ship to keep them nourished and keep their vitamin C levels up. And they just didn't know that back then. And one of the captains, I think Captain Cook or someone, famously figured out that by taking barrels of sauerkraut on their voyages with them, that their sailors would not suffer from scurvy. And that was very clever, because sauerkraut has a lot of vitamin C in it. Why? Is it because there's that much vitamin C in cabbage? Well, there is a lot of vitamin C in cabbage, but if you just eat your cabbage raw, like in the form of slaw or something like that, you get a little bit of it. If you cook your cabbage, like cabbage rolls or boiled cabbage, something like that, then you release a little bit more vitamin C. But if you ferment cabbage, as in kraut, sauerkraut, kimchi, just cultured vegetables in general. This says kraut, and it actually is. It's just made from red cabbage and carrots. That's why it has the color that it has. But when you ferment cabbage, it makes upwards of 20 times your vitamin C that's bioavailable in the cabbage, as in the fermentation process alone releases that much more bioavailable vitamin C that your body can use. So a relatively small, like half cup portion of this once a day actually has a lot of vitamin C in it. But I also know a whole lot of people don't like kraut or fermented cabbage, and I get that. It is a acquired taste, but something, again, a very healthy probiotic. Everybody wants more probiotics in them these days, don't they? So there's kraut that you can try to do a little bit extra of, and we'll do a segment on cultured vegetables sometimes. They're so easy to make and easy to do at home, and you get to make them taste the way you want them to taste. There's some classic examples of what has vitamin C in it. Oranges, lemons, all citrus fruits pretty much. The downside of these is we eat the inside of them, when the outside, the peels, have a whole host of good oils and vitamins and things in them. So what I've been doing this winter, partly because it makes me happy because I like the way it tastes, and partly because I am looking for extra vitamin C, is in the mornings I'll take maybe half of a lemon, cut it up, leave the peeling on, about a half an orange, cut it, slice it up, leave the peeling on. Speaking of leaving the peelings on, these are organic fruits. I'm not going to make myself tea out of fruits that I don't know what has been sprayed or poured or whatever on the plants. So with the organic ones, hopefully they don't have a bunch of junk in the skin. I still wash them off, but then, like I said, I cut them up with the peelings and all, drop them in my tea kettle back here with a cinnamon stick, because I like how it tastes, and that has good stuff in it too. A couple of slices of fresh ginger, because ginger is good for everything. And then I make a handy dandy little tea bag, since I do a whole bunch of my own experiments with herbal teas and stuff. You can buy your own tea bags and make them as big or as small as you want to. You can put as much stuff in there as you want. So anyway, I usually use a little bit of green tea. Green tea is good for everything too. So get a little green tea in there. And then here's my secret ingredient. Hibiscus blossoms. Now these are dried hibiscus blossoms because it's January. And I do not have a fresh hibiscus blossom to show you. But anyone who has seen tropical anything knows what hibiscus blossom looks like. It's those big, usually red or white or pink, huge flowers that are classically poised next to a tropical woman's ear with her beautiful hair flowing behind her next to the beach. That's a hibiscus blossom. They grow everywhere in the tropics, and we can grow them here in our part of the country. They just don't usually survive the winter. Sometimes they do, but anyway, needless to say, I don't have a fresh hibiscus blossom to show you, but these are dried hibiscus blossoms. These and fresh hibiscus blossoms are used all over Mexico, Central America, the Caribbean, all in the tropics, because they grow everywhere. And they use them to make kind of a little, it's like their own little tangy Kool-Aid drink for their kids. Is they just soak these in water, add maybe a little bit of fruit juice, maybe a little bit of sweetener to it, and they've got this beautiful reddish, purplish, fruit punchy looking tart drink that kids love to drink, and it's so good for them. And speaking of tart, there's you a little clue of, does this have vitamin C in it? Almost everything with vitamin C in it is a little bit tart. And these hibiscus blossoms makes a nice tart tea. So you know there's a lot of vitamin C in there. And I found these. This was really interesting too. At the little Mexican grocery store here in town. That they haven't always had them, but they just recently started carrying them. And I got this bag. This is like a gallon Ziploc bag of hibiscus blossoms for $6 and some change. I'm going to have enough to make hibiscus tea until this time next winter probably. So what a score. You know, you can go pay a lot of money for some, you know, small little bags of hibiscus blossoms that have come from somewhere, or you can get lucky like I did and find a whole big old bag for just a few dollars. Fantastic. So anyway, these hibiscus blossoms go into the tea bag with my tea and whatever other herbs I decide need to be in my tea that day, and they steep on the stovetop for most of the day, and I just sip on it throughout the course of the day. I put a little bit of honey in it if it's too tart. But I kind of like the tartness sometimes too. It makes me feel kind of like I'm at the beach. So to give you an idea what this looks like, here's my tea kettle. And you can see my cut up fruit and the such floating around in there, along with the tea bag that has the tea and the hibiscus blossoms in it. Look at that color. Tell me if that's not a beautiful color of tea, that you pour that into your teacup on a cold, gray, gloomy January day. And it just, the smell of a little bit of floral, a little bit of orange, a little bit of cinnamon, just makes you feel warm inside. And then you taste it, and it's got a little bit of a flavor of the tropics. I mean, how fabulous. And, oh, it's like taking a vitamin C supplement, getting a little bit more good vitamin C in our bodies, since we humans don't make our own and we have to take it in by mouth. So there's you a little something for extra vitamin C during cold and flu season. Another one we can talk about is elderberries and elderberry syrup. That's a story for another day. Next time I'm ready to make elderberry syrup, we'll make it on here. But that's another big source of vitamin C, is elderberries, and a whole lot of wild edibles and herbs, and we'll talk about those going forward. But for today, I'm going to enjoy a cup of hibiscus tea to help me keep my vitamin C levels up during cold and flu season. So best of luck to you getting through cold and flu season. Be happy, laugh pig, find something to laugh at today. Hopefully we'll be back a little bit later. I didn't give you anything to laugh about much on this episode, but we'll work on that. Have a great day. Bye.